2, or more, consenting adults should be able to fight with no legal consequences, to the death if they wish. Title's pretty self-explanatory. It's absolute BS that if two consenting adults, of similar age and gender start fighting, they can both be charged and jailed. Such oppressive assault laws are merely governments looking to milk fines and fees off innocent people. It's essentially theft with extra steps. We need to end this system of legalized larceny. Consenting adults should be able to give on-the-spot video confirmation that they're both willing to fight. If this confirmation is given, they should be able to fight with no criminal penalties. The only time charges should be levied is if bystanders are hurt. A duel to the death should be a little more formal. All parties should have to sign and notarize a document with a gentlemanly set of proper tools, like a broadsword and a dagger. I do hope it makes sense from a societal perspective to discourage that kind of unnecessary medical costs, loss of life/talent, etc. Plus the fact that people suck, condoning it is inevitably going to result in otherwise unwilling people being shamed or cowed into it. First rule of Death Club: don't talk about Death Club. But honestly, the laws are there more to protect yourself from a hot-headed, rash decision made in moments where clear thinking wasn't going to happen. But yeah, I'd love to see public, open-air boxing rings where people can pay for the public fight referee and then get it out of their system. Okay, the problem here is this: how do you prove a dead man's consent? I can get you a signed and notarized consent that you will fight to the death in about 5 minutes. Maybe not to the death, but I agree with this. If some dude comes at me, I shouldn't have to hold back from defending myself out of fear of legal consequences. Lots of places have mutual combat laws and they're occasionally used as a defense in court. https://en.m. Wikipedia.org/wiki/mutual_combat. Sounds like a recipe for literally getting away with murder. It's okay if I stabbed him in the chest 43 times, sir. We agreed to a death match beforehand. Maybe if it worked like a legal contract in a gladiator-like stadium, with written consent from both adults before entering an arena. Both adults would also need to be screened to ensure they were of sound mind when signing the agreement. They would need witnesses, and they could choose between a small group behind a mirror window or a large audience, like a real stadium. This way the fight would be monitored fairly. I'm starting to think about this a lot, haha. It's only illegal if you get caught. It is not illegal to fight a duel to the death. It's only illegal to win. I'd agree with this, so long as they have to pay for any medical expenses out of pocket and without insurance. I don't need my rates going any higher just because people wanna beat the crap out of each other. #BringBackDueling. There are states with mutual combat laws. Yes, so oppressive. I can't count how many times I wanted to duel to the death, but those pesky laws got in the way. Considering I'm pro-choice when it comes to suicide, I feel like opposing this would be a hypocritical, like I would argue with assisted suicide that nobody gets to choose whether another person lives or dies, it should be solely the individual's choice. Also, fights are almost always idiotic, so I guess we'd thin out the stupid demographic. Still not sold on it though, thinking face. Okay, so a couple of things. 1. I agree that two consenting adults should be allowed to fight, but I also believe it should not be right then and there. They need to make the declaration, I wish to fight you till fill in the blank here, first blood, till one surrenders, till I'm unconscious, etc. 2. If the other agrees, there should be an app where you can check police stations' available time slots. Then you both agree on a day and time and then go down to the local police station where there will be rings set up and one cop will act as referee and make sure the fight goes till the previously specified limits. No knocking the opponent out and then teabagging them and posting on social media. 3. If the agreed time comes and one combatant does not show up, they are fined X amount and half goes to the person you agreed to fight and the other half goes to tax to help pay for cops' time, etc. 4. Before going to the fight you must have a person to voluntarily agree to be your second. This can be friend, family, whatever, and they will vouch for you and say that yes you are well, yes you are not under the influence, etc. Basically yes you are sound to fight. 5. There are no legal repercussion, you get agree to fight, you agree to the possible outcomes, you get a broken hand, you have to deal with it and accept it as a part of the game, you die, too bad, you agreed to the fight, no punishment will be dealt to the other combatant, but if the combatant specifically went in with intent to kill, even if the predetermined end to the fight was first blood and it can be proven by the person's second/witness, then you will be charged appropriately. 6. No broadcasting of fights. This is not something that we should be promoting but a last resort thing to settle a disagreement. We should always try to work our disagreements out with words and teach our kids that, not you can go fight if you want. And #X200B. There are probably more thing we can add to this, but realistically this will give time for both combatants to think if this is what they really want and to potentially work things out. There should also be an opt-out thing here where if someone challenges you and you say no, there is no shaming or repercussions, like challengers are not broadcasted to shame the other into agreeing under duress or whatever. TLDR, yes to Fight Club. Duels were outlawed for good reasons. Due to the duel/honor culture, people who had no desire to duel were compelled into them or baited. They provided a loophole to murder. People killed in duels left family and children behind that now had harder lives or financial burdens. Plus, killing people in non-emergency situations is generally immoral and it is the role of the law to curb it. Look, individuals don't live in isolated libertarian vacuums. Everything you do has consequences for the people and community around you. That's why it is the role of the community to decide if it isn't going to let destructive garbage happen within the community. TLDR. Mortal Kombat IRL, I'll see you on the field. Never happen, the state wants you working, and paying taxes. I agree with the first part of the statement, but the to the death part is too much. In fact, I have long since believed that the seeming increase in bullying, school shootings, etc., are very much rooted in the fact that kids are punished so severely now for a fight. This kinda stuff was nowhere near as bad when I was in school, where fighting would get you at most detention. My son, who is now 22, once told me that it's almost as if these kids who are getting picked on or bullied have the thought they want to do something but feel powerless. BC if they report it, nothing happens and it only gets worse. If they stand up for themselves, they could ruin their lives by getting expelled, arrested, jailed, etc. So therefore, they think if I'm gonna get in that much trouble, I better make it worth it. Granted, it was just conjecture, but it makes sense. Pressure that is not allowed to escape slowly or at a lower threshold only leads to an explosion. While I would never condone encouraging kids to fight, I do encourage understanding that I feel like it is a part of human nature and coming of age, and think the punishment should be much less. It wouldn't encourage more fighting by and large, but I do think being so aggressive with punishment is highly detrimental. Granted, I realize that the op was about adults, but I was just making the point it shouldn't be just for adults.